Intentions and Expectations, a journal entry by OSEI. Friday, September 6, 2024. Let's face it, the simple truth is that we all set intentions with desired outcomes in mind. Think about it. When you approach a vending machine with your credit card in true 2024 fashion, your ultimate goal is to quench your thirst. The drink you choose to achieve that goal is entirely up to you. Here's the kicker. With each beverage option, you have a slightly different expectation, which varies from person to person. Tap, then bam, a Coca-Cola, which happens to be a favorite of mine, though I no longer drink it for health reasons. Alright, Coke it is. I know my intentions, at least the ones that I'm conscious of. I want to spike my blood sugar, which gives me a burst of energy, and combined with the caffeine, the boost is even more effective. 99% of the time, choosing Coke gives me that desired outcome. Your question is, what does a vending machine analogy have to do with anything meaningful? Well, lately, I've realized that whenever I set an intention and don't quite get the outcome I expected, it sets me off on a downward spiral of negative emotion. I want to use this journal to process my intentions and expectations, especially regarding my quest to build a great relationship with my father. In particular, I want to make him proud to the point where he openly verbalizes it. I grew up without a father for the first 9 years of my life. I'll look at his graduation photo on the wall and think, what a smart man he must be. I'd flip through his old photo albums and wonder, how did he run his own business and do it successfully? Before I met my father at 9 years old, I had many preconceived notions about him. I wanted to pick his brain, ask him about life, school, entrepreneurship, and most importantly, about God. The first place my father took me to was the Accra Public Library, which in hindsight was the telltale sign that intellectual matters and academics were important to him. Was I a good student? Yes and no. Yes, because I excel when I care, set clear intentions, and know the desired outcome. No, because when the subject matter doesn't interest me, my hyperactive brain labels it as non-essential and tunes out. It's just not intellectually stimulating enough. Just as I had preconceived notions about my father before meeting him, I'm sure he had the same about me. I mean, it's only fair. I was his firstborn son, born after a tragic loss he experienced a few years before I came into the picture. I'm sure he had great intentions and high expectations for my life. Growing up with my father was quite the ride. I looked at him, intending to have a best friend, forgetting that he was also a parent with responsibilities. From the age of 9 to 13, I idolized him, but still saw him as a distant figure. My father was a youth worker, and when he worked with other people's kids, he was far more loving and gracious towards them, expressing his gratitude for them in full view. However, I noticed that I didn't receive the same grace at home, so my intention of having a father didn't quite turn out like I envisioned. Let's consider things from my father's perspective. His entire message to the youth he worked with was about the importance of formal education. How could he advocate for this if his son wasn't a college or university graduate? Being a Christian, I'm sure he wanted to lead by example. That brings me to the real reason for writing this journal. I recently enrolled in school for the 7th time to make my father a little less disappointed in me before he goes to his grave. I expected him to be more communicative and let me know that he was happy with my decision. I guess I wanted fanfare, but instead I got stoicism. It's like expecting a Coke from the vending machine only to get a lemonade. I was disappointed and confused. What have I gotten myself into? Do I do what I always do? Quit? Or do I take it as a challenge to get to a place where, although my original expectation was for my father to say something like, "This is my son Andrew, with whom I am well pleased," I now realize that that might never happen. Maybe, just maybe, he's not capable of expressing love that way. My father's love language is acts of service. Mine is words of affirmation. He truly enjoys serving others. I, on the other hand, serve others if it serves me in return. I don't have much of a volunteer spirit. And even when I'm being altruistic, at least I got a warm feeling for helping. And that's not nothing. When I serve my clients in business, I'll admit it, it's their affirming feedback and their satisfaction with my work that brings me true joy. Everybody's different, and that's no different from my father and me. So, here I am at a crossroads. Do I abandon this mission, or should I set my sights on a different intention? This has led me to the deeper understanding that intentions can be fluid and flexible. I have come to realize that I can't live to please anyone, not even myself, because the truth is, the goalposts will always keep shifting. I am now resolved to live my life for Christ and Christ alone, recognizing that He's the only figure truly worth striving to emulate. While I love my father, the dream of earning a university degree wasn't born of my own desires. It feels as though I've been choosing the lemonade because it makes my father happy, when in reality I'd much rather have a Coke. At this point, I've decided to complete the academic year and finish the 4 courses I signed up for, but with little to no expectations, simply learning for learning's sake, to broaden my understanding of matters of the divine. If I enjoy the process, I'll sign up for the next set of courses. If not, I'll reassess when I reach that point. My true resolve is to be a lifelong learner, whether through formal education or informal experiences.